Someone asked me the other day what I thought was the #1 reason why relationships fail. Now, the answer came to me immediately. Now, as soon as you hear it, you'll resonate with it and you'll understand. If you're in a relationship and you're having some challenges, you'll be easily able to take steps to point you back in the right direction. But my point right in this moment is, I'm not particularly wise. I don't come up with these answers all by myself. I go directly to source. You know, I let the answers be inspired through me. So I don't ever want to come across as some guru or some wise person that you need to come to speak to and get answers from. You've got the same connection that I have. You've got that same capability. You've got that same direct line to source that I have. The #1 reason why relationships fail, you've forgotten what brought you together originally. Now, this might get really simple really quickly. Most people in relationships, when they come together, they go to church, they get married, and they have this really great intention to put God first. What happens when you get into the relationship? Somebody gets out of alignment, they forget that God was supposed to be first, and then they try and align with each other instead of using that power, that spirit that's always available for all of us. So what I do, I align with God, I align with spirit, I align with source, I align with my own personal integrity, with my own uniqueness, with the gifts that I've brought to this world to give. I don't align with my mate, and even if he would ask me to, I'd say no, that's not the whole purpose. That is not the purpose of this, and that's why relationships struggle. Because here in amongst all of this, you've forgotten that your connection is to stand in that grace, that state of grace and that state of alignment, that empowered state, whatever you want to call it, that state of peace, that deep love that you get from spirit that flows through us. So our alignment and my alignment is always key. It's always key. It's where all my answers come from. I'm not wise, I don't pretend to be, but I do value that connection to the divine. I keep pointing up there. I know that God isn't up there. God, source, spirit flows through us, flows through everything that exists, flows with this vibration and answers every calling that we ever call for, every asking that we ever have, every solution that we're ever needing. But we have to line up with it. And if we're lining up with our mate, we keep lining up with the humanness. We keep, you know, you align with your mate, what happens? When they dip, you dip. What happens then is you both end up dipping and arguments ensue, and nobody can find a way out unless you come back to that spirit energy, that source energy, that aligned energy, that energy of integrity. Then there comes a question. What happens if my mate wants something different to what I want? I love that question, you know. My mate wants something different, I want this, and my mate wants something else. My mate wants something different to what I want. So how do we resolve that? Well, you know, I don't ever believe that God is into compromise. I don't think that's where the word came from. I think compromise is a human-based construction. So what I do is I say, align with your source, align with your integrity, align with your dreams, align with your desires, align with what's true for you, align with what works for you. Align with that first, and then watch the miracles that God performs in your life. Because when you're aligned, God solves everything. Not with compromise. God doesn't say, all right, your mate can have this and you can have this. God says, what you ask is given. What you ask is given. Let everything move through God. Let God be the source of your solutions, not your mate. Don't sit there waiting for your mate to get aligned. Don't expect them to get aligned. You get aligned. I get aligned. I get aligned. I keep getting aligned. And then very gently, I can call other people in to that alignment, especially when I'm having fun, especially when I'm lighthearted about it, especially when I don't make this all so serious. You know, we often make relationships relationships so serious. We make like these vows and these promises so serious. Stephen and I exchanged like promises and vows to each other, and as soon as I saw them, I got that they weren't for each other, they were for ourselves. Those promises and those vows of how we want to live, they're very personal, they're very private. They are how we intend to live as we go forward in this union together. But you know, even above all of that, I just want God, I want Spirit to move through me and call the right behaviour, call the right words, call the right actions, call the right solutions, call everything to me when I'm in that state of alignment. So easy for me now because I've been practicing this for some time. So I can stay here, I can get back to alignment. I might fall from grace too. And if Stephen's aligned with me, what happens when I fall from grace? Well, he would fall from grace too. And then we're both muddling around in the drama together. So I make sure that I don't rely on him to have to be any particular way. I don't try and change him into any other person. He's magnificent the way he is. I can see his magnificence more and more and treat him as the empowered man that he really is. Then he rises to be that more and more and more and more. And it just comes into our experience more and more and more and more. I love knowing that my job on this planet right now, my task as a human being, my task as a teacher, my task as a leader, my task as someone who has a really strong connection to Source, and everybody can have it, but my task is to keep aligning in that love, in that grace, in that peace, in that deep love, in the solution, aligning with that, and let the answers come to me.